Yes, indeed. Thank God it's Friday. Hello, friends, and welcome back. It's been a minute since we've done a Feedback Friday, but we are here. Karaf and I actually just completed a week's worth of crazy amounts of work. We did a virtual Mr. LT, which is an event that they have every year here at the high school. It's a fundraiser. And we've been putting in a lot of hours doing video every night. And tonight was a live stream for the finale and the crowning of Mr. LT. So we just finished that. Thought we'd hit you guys up because it's been a while since we've been able to connect. And so we are here in the studio after a very long week. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. We are in this. We are in the quarantine. I don't know about where you live, but our state just made the official call this past week that school would be remote e-learning for the rest of the semester. A lot of feelings there. A lot of kids who are very bummed out that they kind of got cheated out of their senior year. And, you know, a lot of challenges with this environment that we're in right now. So I hope you all are staying healthy, both physically and mentally and emotionally. As for the State of the Union, it has been really busy for us, not just this past week, but Karafa and I have been grinding away on archiving old programs. Our school's tape archive from LTTV goes back 30 years. So we have been just cranking out one tape after another just every day, digitizing tapes, and all of that is done in real time. So we digitize a batch of tapes, then we have to bring them into edit, clean them up, export them, and then we put them on the YouTube channel. So a lot of great feedback from the alumni, from the community, a lot of people who were blown away by seeing themselves, you know, from 25 or 30 years ago. And even programs as recently as like 20 or 15 years ago. It's pretty amazing to see just how far things have come. In addition to that, as you all know, we have been continuing with the programs. Monster Mondays. I took a break from painting because, like I said, we've been so busy I haven't been able to get back into mini painting, but I'm hoping to get back into that next week and do some more mini painting. Got a lot of tips, actually, feedback. Some of it wasn't so nice, but it was real. And apparently I need to thin my paints. I should have listened to DoD Spec Ops when he told me to do that. I did not understand the extent to which I needed to do that. So you'll be seeing my technique change in future videos. I will be thinning my paints and just doing better coats of painting. So let's say hello to some people. Wow, the chat is alive and well, I see. All right, Kanoko, Mark Gump, Ryan Nguyen, DoD Spec Ops, Diesel. Everybody is here. Good, good, good. Ryan, welcome to the show and to the channel. I think Ryan's a recent fan. Raiden, MD, one of my patrons. A lot of my patrons are in the house right now. Mark Gump, good to see you, brother. Andrew Kolb, good to see you. You probably sent the email and I haven't gotten it yet, Ryan, but I will get to that. This weekend is going to be a weekend of restoration for me. I am going to unplug from all the screens, but on Monday I will resume business as usual. Speaking of unplugging from screens, I know this is probably kind of ironic because I'm talking to you now over screens, but I have kind of developed screen fatigue with doing the videos, with doing the digital archiving, with e-learning with the school, Zoom meetings. It's just been kind of an overload. So I am going to take this weekend to redeem my soul, as it were, and unplug from the world of technology. I might, if the weather's nice, I might take the boys fishing if I can find a place that isn't closed down. Not sure about where you guys live, but By me, there's a lot of forest preserves that are being shut down by the county, which I think is kind of ridiculous because if I'm out there with me and my boys and nobody else is around, what do I have to worry about? But anyway. Healed by Wounds. What's up, brother? Good to see you guys. Jeremiah Torres in the house. Yes, thank you, Jeremiah. At no point have I claimed to be a master of mini painting. In fact, me doing the series on painting minis is kind of like a way to show other people that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start somewhere and work on it, just like any other craft or skill. So I hope to refine my skills as I go along. But yeah, I've been working, grinding hard. So, but I hope that you guys have been able to keep up with the shows. I will say that one of the advantages of life in the quarantine is that it has been a little bit easier to schedule games more consistently with the kids. So I know that for some of you guys, the time in the past this week and last week, we've been starting here at noon Central Standard Time, and for some of you guys that might be in the middle of the workday. But you know, we had to make that choice based on schedules. I was having a difficult time trying to schedule the girls in particular for evening times. Some of the kids do actually have part-time jobs, so I want to give them the opportunity to go out and earn money whenever they can, especially right now since work is in short supply for a lot of people. Yes, Kanoko says California is a ghost state right now. Yeah, our little downtown here has a vibrant restaurant scene, and it is pretty dead. Most of the restaurants are trying to do carry-out service if they don't do delivery already, just to stay afloat. But it's pretty crazy. Like after 9 o'clock, it's a ghost town. So yeah, it is a different change of pace. I read an article that I can't remember who wrote it, but it was by a person who made a reference to this time as the Great Pause. And I think there's some truth in that. I think this environment that we're in has removed us quite a bit from the busy worldly things. And maybe for some of you guys, it's awakened a sense of a more spiritual existence. Maybe just in a most subconscious way, but maybe it's made you realize and reflect a little bit more on the pace of our hectic world. And there are some things that I like about this slower pace. I do like that. I do like to spend a little more time with the family, spend a little more time just doing what I enjoy doing and not feeling so rushed all the time. I've actually been reading a little bit more, which is something I don't have a lot of time to do. I've been reading myself and also with the kids, listening to some audiobooks whenever I have a chance. So just doing some different stuff and getting out for a walk. Even though we're in quarantine, sometimes it just helps to get out for a walk and think about the world around us and our place in it. Because make no mistake, we all have a purpose here. We're here for a reason. So yeah, the Great Pause has given me some pause to reflect. And I found myself, just being very grateful. Jen Wagner, watching from Arizona. Greetings to you. Greetings, Arizona. Yeah, we had some nice weather in Chicago for a few days, and then it got cold again. So hopefully the weather will warm up and we can get outdoors and get out of the house a little bit. That would help everybody. Tyler Hughes, welcome to the live stream. Topo Musical, welcome, my patron. Good to see so many of you guys able to tune in. Apparently this is a good time for many of you. But yeah, so Jeremiah asks about the Bard Odyssey. The Bard Odyssey should be going full force, but it hasn't been, and that's mostly my fault. I reached out to the cast, and they were all totally down to do it. I just haven't had time to schedule with their schedules. So I'm going to try to get that back up and running. hopefully starting in May, which would mean that we would have 3 games a week that are live. Now, I don't know the times for the Bards because they are all not in school, but some of them do have jobs. So I have to work around their work schedules, but I'm hoping to make that happen. Jen says it'll be 100 degrees in Arizona this weekend. Yeah, that's crazy. We'll be lucky if it gets into the 60s. Yeah, it's definitely not that nice here. Timothy says that he's watching from Texas, very warm there as well. Oh, cool. Andrew's been working on some crafty projects for scatter terrain for the smaller scale stuff. So those of you who aren't familiar with wargaming, there's a lot of war games that use smaller than D&D miniature sizes. 15 millimeter, man, I can only imagine that working with that scale must be a true challenge. Tyler Hughes, good to have you here. Staying safe and healthy, thank you. Yes, hope you guys are too. Glad that you enjoyed the badass system. Use it with my blessing. Are there any other Bill Allen homebrew best practices you like to share? Oh, there's so many. If I'm running a campaign where I want the characters to be more heroic, I will use my rolling system, which involves rolling 4d6 and taking the best 3 and re-rolling 1s. When you do that, on average, you're going to have a build that is significantly stronger right off the bat at first level. Now, the reason why I do that typically is if I have an adventure set in a world where there is not a lot of arcane magic. So several significant chunks of my original world have no arcane magic, no enchanted items. So to kind of balance that out, I tend to help the characters out by making those heroic rolls. That's one of the home brews that I really enjoy. In addition to the Bill Allen Damage Alternative scoring system. Another thing that I do, it's not so much a homebrew rule, but it's kind of just how I handle it, is initiative. Everybody rolls initiative. I count down from the top down, and I mark off everybody's initiative. And that helps me, and I think it helps them to be aware of where they are in the order. I also encourage my players to think in advance so that when it is their round, they're not still trying to figure out what they want to do. Always kind of think on your toes. Those are just a couple of the basics that I like to do. Ryan's watching from Georgia. Stay safe. Yeah, so to answer your question, Kanoko, the Bard Odyssey, if I can get their schedule, it would be live, just like we've been doing with the Medusas and the Vixens. Now, the trick with the Bard Odyssey is that there's live music, so getting that done requires a bit more tech and a bit more planning. What that effectively means is that we have to plan out in advance. We can't do the impromptu jams as much. We have to plan out in advance who's playing a song and when they're playing, so that everybody else in the Zoom session will mute their mics, so you're just picking up the sound from whoever's performing or singing or playing the music. So hopefully if I can arrange that with the Palisard brothers, they could do a tune, maybe Tony can do a tune, so we shall see. Yes, all of my worlds are interconnected. Everything that you've watched on D&D with high school students and the Bard Odyssey all is on one big planet. Season 1 of D&D with high school students took place on the continent of Arrakazine, where you can only play as humans initially for that specific time period. There are other races, but there are none of the what I would call the standard D&D races on the continent of Arrakazine. All of the races are original to my world. And that also includes the pantheon of gods and so forth. Seasons 2 and onward all take place on the island continent of New Oath-Otmai. And New Oath-Otmai is much more of what you'd call a standard D&D world. All the usual races are there. So yeah, that kind of explains that. It is interconnected. How it's interconnected, you'll just have to watch. So I wanted to answer any other questions. So at any point, if you guys have questions, pop them into the chat, because this is basically just a chill session to connect with you guys. I don't have a ton of news. Of course, as always, you know, if you guys have suggestions for Monster Monday, I'm happy to add them to the list. And I think I've been keeping up with the list pretty well. Some of you guys have had suggestions that I've done recently or that I'm going to be doing within the next few weeks. So Monster Monday going along strong. Mini painting will come back hopefully next week. Everything's here. I just have to water down my paints a little more. Would you consider doing a story review at some point for both shows? That is a great question and suggestion. A lot of people have asked if I would be willing to do like recaps. I would. And I think sometimes I've done that in Feedback Friday sessions where I've answered people's questions and kind of recapped things. And if that's what you're talking about, that is something that I can consider doing. It might be a challenge, but I think it would be cool. Tim says, been watching your videos for almost a year. With the quarantine, I decided to run a bunch of one-shots, then distilled the players into a regular campaign. That is awesome. That is literally why I'm here. That's why we're doing this, is to build the community and help other people get into the awesome hobby that is gaming. And I love role-playing games, and I've loved everything that they have opened my mind to. And I encourage everybody else to do that. Now, obviously, while we're in this environment of the quarantine, it's hard to meet with people face to face. So however you can get your game on, do that. And when this quarantine's lifted and it's safe, get together with people. Find your tribe, because it's a good thing. Healed by Wounds. My current audiobook is an anthology by Jim Butcher of Dresden File short stories. And I think it's called Brief Cases. And it is awesome. I've only listened to the first two, but it is awesome. The reason why I like this specific one is because Jim Butcher actually does intros for each short story, which are then read by other people. So if you're a fan of Dresden Files, this is a really cool audiobook that's got a bunch of his short stories. Check it out. Jen Wagner says, hi, Julia. Hi, Jen. Hi, everybody out there in the warm state. Yes. The cave that the giant was living in, was it the same cave as the troll cave? No. Different area. Different area. But today's episode, without too many spoilers, some of you will be happy to know that the Medusas acquired some treasure, some of which was magical. I know it's very rare. A lot of times I don't give out treasure or objects of treasure, but they actually defeated a hill giant, which, by the way, almost killed Magnus, 10 hit points away from being crushed. Diesel asks, if I could only pick 3 monsters for D&D, what would they be and why? Ooh, man. All right, so one category would be undead. I would have to pick undead. One type of undead, I'm not sure what would be the best. That's tough, man. One kind of undead for sure. And then if I had to pick one of the basic humanoid common monsters, I would say orcs. I prefer orcs over goblins. I think orcs can be very versatile. And then the last one would probably be one of the giants, like ogres, trolls, or one of the giant types. So undead, a giant type, and orcs. Those would be my 3. I think you could build a pretty amazing environment with just those 3. Good question. I could have played that off as just saying humans, humans, and humans, because I could also do that. Humans could be your ultimate villain. I say it often. Jeremiah, do you reuse the same homebrew world for all your campaigns? And if so, for how many years have you used that setting? That's a great question. So I have been running games in my original world since 1998. That's when I started. Now, I don't always do that. I have run some content that was set in the Forgotten Realms. I don't often do that, though. I prefer to run stuff in my own original world because I know that world very well, and usually my players don't know it well. And I have found that when you bring players in, especially experienced and veteran players, a lot of times they know the world, right? So if you're running something in the Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk, they, like experienced players, might have read all the books. They know everything. It's harder to surprise them. But when you bring them into an original world that they don't know, then there's kind of a fresh and exhilarating new experience of discovery. And I think that's one of the advantages of creating your own world. That said, there are plenty of areas in the Forgotten Realms that are not well covered in the published books. So if you don't want to create your own world, take a look at the Forgotten Realms and look at the map and find an area that there isn't a lot of published material for, and just create your own content there. And you can keep your players on their toes doing that as well. Kanoko asks, why did St. John not take the water crystal since the team is working for the blonde-haired elf? I don't think I can answer that. Well, okay, I won't answer that directly because it might invoke spoilers, but I will say this. In the history of St. John's thus far, one who has watched the shows would know that St. John is a servant of Taik, which is the entity of the void. The entity of the void is neutral, true neutral. So why wouldn't St. John have taken the water crystal? I guess the answer is we'll see. Ryan says, I have an idea. Would it be game breaking if you had a good fan appearance for one session? You work a way to quickly incorporate the guest as a side. So in a way, Ryan, that's already happening because some of my patrons on Patreon have pledged at a certain level where they are providing NPCs for the game, and I have integrated their NPCs. And between the 3 shows, you have actually met many of those NPCs already. So for example, Blazu Orc Smasher is a patron NPC. Trizzle is a patron NPC. Sulfurd Matronus is a patron NPC. And there are more coming. So now, as to whether I would actually have a patron or a guest player enter the game, I certainly would. And we have considered doing that. It has to be at the right time, though. I don't want it to just be a gimmick. I would actually integrate it into the storyline so that even if it was just for a one-shot cameo appearance, I would still want it to be a substantial and important part of the overarching plot. So I guess the answer is yes, I would consider that. Timothy says, we are using D&D Beyond Roll20 and the D&D Beyond plugin. My players are all first-time players. Well, first of all, kudos to you for using all those things. That's a lot to manage. And I don't think I've integrated that in our live stream so far because for me to be able to keep the narrative going, I feel like I might be too distracted. I totally think it's fine to use those tools if you're running a game that you're not live streaming, but I feel like while we're live streaming our shows, I have to be more focused on the narrative. Especially because everything in the shows is not predetermined. It is an open sandbox. If the players decide to do something that is unexpected to me, I have to be able to improv. I have to be able to react and respond and shift the narrative. So that's kind of where I'm focused. But for all of you guys who just want to play online, if you have access to those resources and you want to connect with people, by all means do it. And if you're watching this stream right now and you're saying to yourself, but Bill, I don't have a group to play with, I don't know anyone. Yes, you do. Because My patrons started up a Discord channel. Patrons of Bill Allen World has a Discord channel, and they're running games, and you too could get in on that mix. So head on over there, make your Discord, join the community. We have a lot of awesome people who are on all the time, and they are super helpful. So get involved. That's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. That's the mission. Topo says, I was surprised the Medusas didn't seem to do any type of detect magic on the stuff they found. Yes, me too, buddy. But, you know, sometimes they learn slowly. I think they probably need a moment to digest, and next week they'll figure out that they want to do that now that they made it to kind of a safe place. But or maybe they'll forget, who knows? And they'll just be walking around with a wand that they don't understand. Diesel asks, what happened to the torch on the wall? Yes, we used to have 2 matching torches. And one of them got broken on accident by a student, and that student was very sorry. He was very apologetic. It was dark in the studio, and he tripped, and when he tripped, he bumped into the torch and broke it. So we will be replacing that at some point. But for those who didn't know, I forgot to mention, Carafa and I are doing a major renovation in the studio. We will be painting in the studio, which involves basically clearing everything out. So that's going to take up a fair amount of time next week. But once all the painting and reorganization, redecorating is done, we'll have a slightly improved look for the studio. Is Beecher's patron not the Void God? I thought that they were, and St. John is working with Beecher's patron. Kanoko, your investigation check is flawed. No, don't feel bad, because a lot of people think that Beecher's patron is the Void God. And there's a reason for that confusion. I haven't clarified that. And for me to clarify that to you directly would be spoilers. But I promise if you go back and re-watch, you will find out the secret. I can say that Beecher's patron is not the same as Andrea's patron. So Amity's patron is Taik. Beecher, Olin's patron, is not. There is a reason for the confusion. Timothy says, do the players ever watch this and get ideas for the next session? Yes, sometimes they do. The Medusas tend to watch the comments a little more than the Vixens. I think the Vixens just don't care. So they don't really tune into the comments very much, but the Medusas do. So that's why I have to be careful about spoilers. But I also want to respect, I know that some of the subscribers haven't had a chance to get caught up on the most recent episodes, so I try to avoid spoilers for that reason. So, yeah, those are all good questions. You guys are on fire today. Speaking of on fire, I taught myself a song. Now, I want to preface this by saying, Jen, if you're still watching, here's your guitar. I still have it. I still have it after all these years. This is Jen's guitar, which was a gift to Jen from Frank, and then she gave it to me. Actually, I don't even know if she gave it to me. I might have just taken it and never given it back. But that's fine. So I never took guitar lessons. I took like a folk guitar class, and I learned like 5 chords, and that's basically all I've ever known, like the same 5 chords. And as many of you probably already know, I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan. So in the quarantine, I was playing around on some chords, you know, and just listening to the chords, and something hit me. And I realized that I actually know the chords for Jimi Hendrix, Play Joe. There you go, Jen. And I was like, I know those chords. And now I haven't played this and sang it at the same time, But in my band, I used to sing the song. We used to play a lot of Hendrix. So I'm going to do that for you guys right now. How's it sound, Dave? Hey Joe, said where you run with that gun in your hand? Hey Joe, say where you running with that gun in your hand? I'm going down to shoot my old lady. You know I caught her messing around with another man. I'm going down to shoot my old lady. You know I caught her messing around with another man. And that ain't too cool, yeah. But hey Joe, I heard you shot your woman down. Shot her down now. Hey Joe, heard you shot your lady down. Shot her down now. Yes I did, I shot her. You know I caught my old lady messing around town. So I gave her the gun and I shot her. See, if I had a looping pedal now, then I could do the solo. All right, that's enough. So I just thought it was fun because I've loved that song all my life, and I didn't know that I knew the chords, and that's it. It was that easy. C, G, D, A, E. Duh. Yeah. Yeah, see, it's not a coincidence, Jen. Jen's birthday is the anniversary of Jimi Hendrix Day. Jimi Hendrix's birthday. That's right. We should jam together. If they were trying to collect the crystals for Trixie, why did they not use their tattoo to tell Trixie they had the water crystal? Again, another great question. Maybe the Medusas are just dumb or forgetful. Do you know how many episodes I've been waiting for them to try to reach out to Lord Finoop with their tattoo, or to Trixie, or to Willie, and yet they have not? I don't know. I don't know. It's a great question, and yet they've let us all down. Maybe the Medusas will read these comments and be like, oh yeah, we could reach out to these powerful people and find out where they are and request assistance. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on in the shows. Hopefully the bards will come together. I know they're all down, including Beecher, by the way. Beecher said he would be down for Bard Odyssey, so if I could get everybody wrangled up, we'll do some live shows with them too. And May will be a brighter month. hopefully, because April's been pretty rough. So, yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. I want to say a special thanks to Ann Adams, who is one of my patrons. In case you haven't noticed, the audio quality for the Medusas is a million times better. Ann was kind enough to order us a couple Logitech gaming headsets, so Andrea and Virginia could have decent sound, which is awesome. I want to thank all of my patrons on Patreon because your guys' generosity has truly moved my spirit, especially in this time. I know that money is tight for a lot of people right now, and I'm not going to front. It makes a big difference to my family and my life that you guys are giving us support. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. All you guys on Patreon, all of you guys who are subscribers and supporters and are helping to grow the channel, you are helping me out personally and helping us out as a community. So thank you guys so much. And I will say that, you know, if you are in a time of, you know, doubt, of anxiety, of darkness or depression right now, because of everything that's going on in the world, I want you to know that I am rooting for you. You are in my prayers, and I am not a perfect person. I also have great moments of doubt and darkness and exhaustion, but I have faith, truly, that this too shall pass. All of this stuff that we're going through in the world, take a moment to reflect and know that for whatever you have blessings right now. Whatever situation you're in, you are blessed. Even if you've lost your job, you are in my prayers and you are blessed, because there are people dying right now. There are people who maybe aren't dying, but their whole life has gone down the toilet because of this. And no matter where you're at, if you're alive, if you have a roof over your head, if you have food, those are blessings. So don't take it for granted. We are together in this world. This is our world together, and we have to believe that we will get through this. And be smart, be safe, wash your hands, wash your face, but maintain a positive spirit, guys, because this we'll get through this. This has happened in the world before. There have been other plagues, and the world's continued on. So have faith and stay positive, and just know that my prayers are with you guys, and my gratitude is with you guys, truly. All right, I'm about to go cry. So I love you guys. Stay safe. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Stay rested.